Hey guys, back for day two. Today's question, pretty much you get given the string. So on each line you'll get a game number. So for game number one, we have a bunch of rounds. In the first round, an elf will pull out 3 blue cubes and 4 red cubes. In the second round, it will pull out 1 red cube and 2 green cubes and 6 blue cubes. And in the third round, it will just pull out 2 green cubes. And you pretty much want to say for each game, is it possible if they only had 12 red cubes, 13 green cubes, and 14 blue cubes? Keep in mind that after every round, so for example this round, when he pulls out the 3 blue cubes and the 4 red cubes, he'll put them back in the bag afterwards. So it's a fresh start for the second round. So pretty much we just want to see if at any point in any round, the elf pulled out more than 12 red cubes, 13 green cubes, or 14 blue cubes. For example, in game 3, in the first round, he pulled out 20 red cubes, which isn't possible because he only had 12 red cubes. Yeah, and then what we want to do is add the game number of each of the possible games. So you can see here these two are possible because no value exceeds these. This one's possible. This one here is not possible because at one stage he pulls out 20 red cubes, which is too many. This game is not possible because at one stage he pulls out 15 blue cubes, which is too many for the maximum 14, and game 5 is possible, so we add 1, 2, and 5 for the answer of 8. So let's go into the code. I actually did it really janky the first time, and then I made it a lot better, which I've refactored here afterwards. So the first thing I did is split by the semicolon, and I used this like substring to get the game ID. So this pretty much splits on the semicolon. So and on the left side we get rid of the game and we get the ID. So in the first game will be 1, second game will be 2. I made this better in the second example, don't worry. And then pretty much after we get rid of that, we have a string that looks like this, which is represented by this rounds value. And for each round, we will go into each, for all the rounds, we'll go into each round. So for example, we'll start with 3 blue. And what we do here is we get rid of the comma and we check if it's blue. And then if it's blue, what we do is we replace the string blue and then check if the value is greater than the given number. So here we would get rid of the string blue, and then we check if this value 3 is greater than 14. If it is, we just play on, and then if any of them break this rule, these rules defined here, which is the maximums, we will return 0. Otherwise, we would return the ID of the round, aka the round number. Gone ahead and refactored things a little bit to make it a bit nicer after the fact. So I guess the first difference is that we split it by the semicolon, which is the same, but then we just throw away the left side, this game equals 1, because before I used the substring to get this ID, but I realized, yeah, the ID is just the index. So in this case, it's index 0 plus 1. In this case, it's index 1 plus 1. So it's just the index plus 1. So we don't need that anymore. And then I realized we can just go through the whole string and pretty much just check all the greens at once. So we look through all the greens here. We check this too many cubes function. We check if any of these green values are over 13. And then here's the helper function here, too many cubes. Pretty much we go into each game and we split it by the semicolons and we check for all the greens. Once we find all the greens, we replace all the string greens. And what we do is we check the integer value associated with each and check if it's greater than the maximum amount which you pass in. So 12, 13, 14. And yeah, we look through all of them. If any of them above the maximums, we add 0 to the total. But if all of them are under the maximum, we just add the index. Moving on to part 2. In this part, pretty much we want to know what's the minimum amount of cubes they could have for each color in each game. So you can probably use your intuition to realize that this means that in each row, what's the minimum blue value, red value, and green value. So this is actually a bit easier to code up, pretty much for each game. So we get the input file, and for each game, once again, we'll get rid of everything on the left side. Get rid of all this bonzo. And then what we do is we replace each semicolon with a comma, and replace each space with a empty string. So pretty much we'll have all the values lined up next to each other with a comma. And then we check the minimum red value, the minimum green value, and the minimum blue value. And in this helper function, what we do is we pretty much get the string. Then we get an array that contains all the values of just a certain color. So we get all the blue values, for example. We get rid of the string that says blue, so we're just left with the integer value, and then we get the maximum value of all those options. Then we just return that. Thanks for watching.